not going to do it just quite yet.
Yeah, C9 targeting the mid lane 3 separate times. Of course, Galio can also be flexed. He can play in other roles as well.
Opens up the rumble pick for top lane.
Yep, definitely still a mid laner possibility there. So 3 potential mid lane bans from C9 with the Talia, Ziggs, and Galio banned out. Over on the other side, the standard red side packs of Varus and Pantheon is banned away alongside the Gwen.
Yeah, and since the Talia is banned away and the Azir is left up, they'll highly prioritize that over stuff like the Rumble, even though Galio and Gwen are both banned, and those are 2 answers to Rumble usually. The third most prominent one is like Ornn type thing, so they skip over all of those to grab the Azir for Loki, and I think that is a wise choice. Loki has definitely been very, very good on the Azir, and the champion right now is worth building around.
Yeah, I mean, he is still one of the strongest mids out there, fits into a variety of compositions. Okay. On the other side, we see that Yunara locked in for Yeon. He did get the first professional win on this champion, right?
It's a good stat.
Yeah, it's a good stat. I do think there are certain answers to the Yunara, especially when you do first pick her. Kind of Wukong comes to mind, something where you'd be able to really try to dive the backline and get on her, because she can be kind of slippery as well. As we see the Trundle locked in for Yuuji, another really strong pick right now.
Okay. Also, very scary for Cloud9 if they wanted to try to build a powerful front line. A lot of times when you see Azir be a key component of a composition, you're fine playing some standard front to back, just scaling type of team fighting picks. But Trundle always makes those a lot scarier because he can eat the tank stats. And there it is. Emily, you said it. Yunara does not like dealing with Wukong. So we are going to lock that Wukong in for C9. They will have a powerful physical damage jungler alongside 2 very high damage AP solo lanes.
Yeah, the other big thing is the Rumble going over to Thanatos in the top lane. Another really, really powerful pick. Nice first 3 rotation, especially, again, I do like the Wukong into the Yunara when you first pick her that early in draft.
So I think Cloud9 probably are doing this so that they can follow it up with the Ornn ban in the second rounds here, since they've got plenty of room to work with. And you're thinking Impact is for sure going to pick something like that up in the top lane. So a couple extra here for Cloud9 to work with. Meanwhile, Team Liquid trying to play around this Yunara, take away the Ezreal poke lane possibilities from them. So there you go.
Yep. And there's the Ornn ban coming out in that 4 slot, Kobe. We'll see if TL just want to keep banning 80 carries, potentially try to pinch what C9 wants to pick up for Zven here.
Yeah, if they're trying to get rid of the longer range stuff that they don't want to allow to contribute to the fights from further away, they could also ban away the Jhin. We see him as another one of those popular types of picks for similar scenarios, but running the clock down on this one, want to make sure they make the right call, and that call will be instead Rakan. There's already some powerful ulti combo potential on the side of C9, and having that big AoE teamfight engage could be real scary.
Yeah, taking away some of the primary possibilities here, that primary engage from Vulcan. Vulcan's been super good, especially on stuff like the Alistar, which is still up and available. So, you know, things that you want for CC to keep people on Rumble. Ultimates are like Rel and Alistar, both look pretty good as possibilities and could have some nice pairings there for Cloud9. Meanwhile, Yunara does go both ways. So Yunara can be played with enchanters like Renata we saw TL using last time around. CoreJJ played it with the Renata, but they could also play it with the Rel or something like that themselves.
All right, what's it going to be here?
Variety of covers here.
Just got to bounce around, keep people guessing while we wait to see the answer into the Rumble. Of course, Renekton, this is just a staple of pretty much every top laner, but Sion instead, we mentioned the Ornn as what we were expecting. Obviously, C9 expecting the same thing, so they ban it away. One meatball is traded out for another, and Sion will be the choice.
Yeah, and I mean, Sion is really strong right now. He can do a scary amount of damage, even if you don't go the kind of bruiser build that we saw Bwipo going yesterday. And I do like the idea of TL kind of defaulting to having a front impact on a frontliner. I do think that is where he can shine in these team fights. As we see the Corki coming through.
It looks like they want a strong
Neeko.
lane too. Yeah, it looks like they want a really strong lane here. Corki and Neeko has plenty of burst damage to try and threaten whatever Team Liquid want to pair Yunara with.
Neeko can be so annoying too for these champions that don't have a fast way to dash out of the range of the Pop Blossom, considering there's some limited mobility on the side of Team Liquid. I'm excited to see what Vulcan can do here with this pick, as it looks like TL are going to finalize their draft here with Renata, Glasc, some counter engage to deal with when Azir and Wukong and everybody tries to dive in.
Yeah, and this is some really nice protection from the Yunara, right? We talked about why Wukong is such a good pick to try to get onto her, kind of diving across the back line. Renata can stuff a lot of that, right? And I actually do agree with Azael's take that Renata has kind of been unfairly maligned due to being often coupled with Kalista, who...
You are judged by the company you keep.
Yeah,
Renata
exactly.
hangs out with bums, so people think she is a bum.
But Renata's not a bum.
Okay, that's what we're going to see if they can prove here.
Yeah, and CoreJJ did play it last time they played, verse line with the Yunara that time as well. And already, kind of proved it. He put his money where his mouth is. So, as you say, Wukong is kind of hard for a lot of champions to peel, but Renata can do it with the ultimate because you don't have to, get into range of the knockup and stuff. If your positioning is good and spacing away from your Yunara, then you can still peel for her pretty effectively there. And we'll see how effective those bailouts are as well.
All right, let's do it. Time to get cooking on this one. Team Liquid looking to prove they can hang with the top of the table contenders. Cloud9 would love to prove the exact opposite. So many opinions so far about this split have been that it's really just a two-man race at the top between FlyQuest and C9. So if you're C9, you want to make sure that everybody knows you are still right up there at the tip top, ready to challenge for number one.
30 seconds until minions
And we'll see what C9 end up doing here. The thing I do really like about their draft, in addition to the stuff I already mentioned, is the fact that, again, with this pushing bot lane, I love when C9 do play around their early prio and the early prio picks. I think that's where they shine the best.
All right, speaking of C9, last week Vulcan took some time to reflect on his KDA. Let's hear what he had to say.
What's your KDA so far? I don't know what it is after this game 2 today, but David was telling me that after game 1 today, I had 54 KDA.
Oh, 54.
54.
Wow.
But then I had 2 deaths and 13 assists, I think, when the game ended. So 54 plus 13, that would be 67.
Oh,
Divided by 3, that's like 22 and 0.3. So my KDA is probably like 22.3 right now.
So Vulcan did the math right. He just was using the wrong numbers. His calculations there were correct, but he actually got 19 assists that game instead of 13. So his KDA is 24.33, repeating, of course, and the highest in the LTA North, the whole league.
Yeah, he was just being humble, He got 6 more assists there, and the bottom lane definitely is where most people are focusing on this matchup because, kind of like we said, on Team Liquid, even when they have lost series and lost games, Yeon and CoreJJ are almost always the focus and performing very effectively. Did some interviews with, Zven as well as Yeon himself right before this game. And Zven was even saying, hey, yeah, I mean, there's a chance that TL's bottom lane are the best, bottom lane in the league. He gave them a lot of respect. But also, they beat them 6 times in a row last split. And a lot. The team definitely has a bit of an effect there. So good early usage here of the Renata Yunara pushing up. You threaten with your Q. You charge up your Q on minions very, very quickly, and then threaten through. And CoreJJ is able to land some stuff here to get a little bit of poke damage and soften up the Cloud9 bottom lane just a little bit.
And I think you can also see from this composition that TL kind of still do want to play around their bot lane carry, right? Because this comp has a lot of really good frontline and CC, and then additionally the Renata peel with the ultimate if anyone tries to dive on Yunara and she's unable to escape. So I do think this comp is very well set up for Yeon to shine if they find those windows to have good team fights.
Yeah, when I asked him specifically about this, he was like, yeah, well, it depends a lot on draft, and a lot of drafts are kind of like topside focused on. I'm like, well, we have their early slamming tanks a lot now for impact. It's definitely going to be focused towards Yeon, towards that Yunara. And of course, Annie here for APA. is a lot about that initiation, about that setup, and even will be about roaming to possibly make some bot side plays. So we'll see if that focus does pay off, because Trundle is pinging for a dive right now. You see Trundle here, Yuuji's moving down, and already they're pinging to try and at least deny them on the wave here. So they're coming over, even with the vision.
Okay, Zven backing away first. Vulcan still hanging out underneath the tier 1 turret as Zven has to Valk away from the Pillar of Filth. Now Vulcan's already lost his HP down to 200 here. CoreJJ is going to stay alive from the bailout, but does ultimately fall. It'll be a 1-for-1 trade as both supports go down.
Yeah, both supports are traded, and then Zven backed off, so Zven still gets to CS here. That is usually, like, even if you go for 1-for-1s, that is kind of the drawback there for the team that gets dove. But because Zven survives, he still at least to get more CS here for this extra wave for the Corki. So it is actually not too bad for C9, even though they are down. And Yunara does have the early lead in this game, exactly where TL wanted. And it also means it's just going to be a repeat clear for the Trundle, top down to bottom again.
Yeah, the big difference between the kills being traded, you already mentioned it. The Yunara is ahead. Yeon got the kill, whereas Vulcan was the recipient of it instead. Thanatos now going to get ganked up here on the top side. And Team Liquid's jungler is putting in the work. Yuuji's going to grab another one.
As we see, APA.
Ooh, APA, one more hit might just kill him. The last auto attack is not there, and APA survives with about 20 HP remaining.
I was going to say, I love seeing Yuuji get involved this early, right? We talked about what was able to bring to this team, and I think that was a lot of creativity. There was a point where Kobe and I were timing him in terms of like his 3-minute invades, but here we see him help set up for that dive bot, then come up, and yeah, I mean, I really like seeing that kind of initiative from him to make plays with his lanes, especially bot lane actually, just because A, that's the focus of where this composition is, and then B, I want to see him more involved with the team.
Yeah, and I want to point out how they did it too. You know, they gained the extra, timer to move early from bottom lane because of the bottom lane gank, and they're returning to this top side, focusing again here towards Zven. He's got some.
Yeah, Zven's gonna have to flash away though, and he still dies. Beautifully done from Team Liquid here in the early game, returning to the scene of the crime yet again.
It's just expert team play here from Team Liquid. Like I said, the previous bottom lane play that they did before rotating up to topside, they used their timer off the successful play, and Yuuji and CoreJJ, if you looked at the minimap during that play, they successfully navigated around the 2 deep wards that Cloud9 had in Team Liquid jungle. They had a ward on Krugs, and they had a ward on Raptors, but CoreJJ and Yuuji, both on recall, went through the lane, navigated around those wards, and were able to get that surprise gank. That's how they got that first kill. And then a repeat kill here. It's just massive stuff for Team Liquid. They've got their lead where they want it. 900 gold onto Yeon, and the feats acquired here as far as the first 3 kills. So this is a tremendous early start for the game plan of how Team Liquid want to play.
And it's really great to see from them being able to play around.
I mean, that's him clearing Krugs afterwards.
Hey, Krugs are important too.
This is after him and CoreJJ made the top lane play, and this is showing those 2 wards.
Uh-oh. Yeon is in some danger now, though. Has to flash away as he's down to 200 HP here, so big defensive summoner spell gone. Remember that Yunara can only dash when her ultimate is active. He does tick over to level 6 now, so he will have the opportunity to do that if he needs it, but it's a pretty important summoner spell that C9's able to force there.
And when we talk about what TL were good at, I know Jat had the kind of inflammatory title in Waiting Room of whether they were lane swap merchants or not. I do think TL did lose a little bit when lane swaps were eradicated from the game. However, seeing them use early lane assignments really well, I think still points to the fact that they can still have that strength.
Okay, just about to tick 8 minutes here on the clock, so the Voidgrubs are about to arrive to the Rift, and we will see who has control over the area, because right now, it looks like Team Liquid is setting up for a potential move. Yuuji once again up here around this top side. The ward of the Pixel Brush for C9 will spot him out, but Yuuji's not particularly concerned about Zven as much as he is with these grubs. They'll go ahead and begin this objective. The smite is available, but oftentimes you don't want to use it in the first little grub. That one will get secured automatically. And now it looks like Cloud9 are just saying, all right, we don't want to fight for this anyway. We are behind here in the early game. We'll handshake the objectives instead, take the draw.
Yeah, there's no way they can fight up on the top side, so it's a really good choice again from Team Liquid because, you know, Corki sitting on tier and being down over 900 gold, almost a full 1,000 there. Yuuji wants to fight around his duo lane, and so they take the grubs. This is going to give them more turret plate money as they work off one on the top side. Defense comes in here for Cloud9 at the moment, though, and they're trying to minimize their losses at the moment. As you say, they make the smart choice. Just go trade on the other side. Don't want to fight into the disadvantage.
Okay, Loki backing up there, shuffling away to safety as he sees Yuuji on the approach yet again. Blaber is slightly ahead of Yuuji in terms of EXP, but again, he hasn't been able to affect the map as Zven now in some trouble. The heal comes through, but a nice hostile takeover puts C9 in a real rough spot. The summoner spell is being forced out there. Everything that was available was spent by C9 to try to get away.
And look at that, they immediately call Yuuji. Yuuji's walking over here on the Trundle. They want to force more CS denial onto Zven. Here comes the Trundle. He's on vision at the moment, so TL trying to push him off. And again, they're just trying to slightly increase, ever so slightly here, every little bit of gold difference for the Yunara over this Corki. They get a turret plate. They're trying to push the Corki away from the CS.
And the little baby grubbies are so annoying for the Corki too because he can't hit the minions with the rockets. His APA might just die back over the mid lane. Loki flashes over the wall, APA flashes away, staying alive yet again with only 20 HP to his name. Impact's moving over to try to save his mid laner now as APA still at death's door looking for an angle here as Loki has now been caught out and it's Impact with a decimating smash. One more auto attack will get it done, but no! Not even with the grass proc. Loki's shield barely keeps him alive, and both mid laners walk away with 1% health.
That's so funny that both of them end up surviving. Initially, I actually thought that APA was definitely going to be dead to that, but really nice save from Impact off the back half of this too. They're going to be able to push that wave in, then Impact's going to head back to bot.
But in the end, because Loki has teleport and he can teleport back to the wave, Impact actually loses so much CS down there because Thanatos on Rumble just pushes it up into the tower. And so Thanatos was able to get, I believe during that time is when they got the first turret plate and worked that one in. So we'll see about the next few minutes here. Looking again towards the Yunara though, CoreJJ here on his roam, trying to clear out some of this vision so they can continue to play around Yeon.
Ooh, Impact now could be in some danger. Thanatos flashing in aggressively, dropped down the equalizer, overheated here a little bit, but now after he cools off, Impact's got no way out. Nice solo kill from Thanatos.
Yeah, really nice from Thanatos, recognizing Impact was still down his ult, right? Because he did have to ult in to kind of help save APA. Thanatos should be able to completely take over this wave and potentially get some damage on this turret.
Yeah, I mean, he's on Leandry's power spike right now, so he knows. He's like, yeah, you're a tank. Well, I'm just going to roast you. He's got plenty of % health damage here. Burns right through Impact and keeps his nice CS lead, and he got his second little turret plate there. So, Flowers, your hope for Cloud9 is up there. Well, not necessarily in the top lane.
The top laner that's in the bottom lane, with Leandry's Torment against the Spectral Hoodie, it's not really fair itemization difference here as Blaber's got to try to escape as Yuuji and CoreJJ once again working together, trying to take over the map, make C9 feel suffocated, just trying to move around in their own jungle.
And I feel like this is the best we've seen them work together since Yuuji's debut, right? When they had that invade onto contracts that like completely starved contracts with Core on the Poppy. It's really, really nice to see some improved jungle support synergy for this team because one of my biggest things about why TL was struggling was because Yuuji hadn't been able to necessarily integrate himself onto the team yet.
And with the lead that he's built so far, with how active he's been in this early game, Trinity Force Trundle, 12 minutes in, is going to absolutely crush that first turret. Team Liquid's going to take that feat as well. It means they secure the empowered boots for themselves. Really nice early game from them.
Yeah, and Yeon is 1.5k ahead now as Yunara with the Kraken rush build here. So Operation Play Around the Yunara is in full effect.
Yeah, and now it's going to be how do they set up team fights around these neutral objectives? As Yeon going to force the flash from Zven.
Yeah, you definitely have to. The chase is definitely there for Yunara.
Well, Zven may have overstayed now, and Yeon just gonna shoot him to pieces. Turns him into Swiss cheese there with the auto attacks plus the Arc of Ruin. Zven just not respecting how much damage potential Yeon has.
Oh, yeah. He must have just thought that Yeon left and immediately had turned around as the wave kind of coming in there. And Yeon's like, great, I will finish the job. Thumbs up. That is now 2K, Emily.
2K, and they should be able to get first rotation onto this Drake as well, especially with APA pushing in that mid wave.
And you can see here, this is a comparison of how often the team is in a major lead, which means you have about 52% of the total gold between the teams in your possession. In a lot of the time, it's C9. They are actually the team in our league that is in a major lead position most of the time, more than anyone else. Team Liquid is in the bottom half at only 21.5% of the time possessing that game state. But here in this one, turret plates have just fallen. We're only 14 minutes into the game, but Team Liquid has a really nice 1,500 gold lead after this good early game performance.
Okay, Cloud9 starting off the Drake though. APA does have his flash on Annie with stun charged.
Okay, TP coming in. Team Liquid ready to fight for this. C9's already got the Drake down to about 1,600. Impact gonna lead the charge. We're gonna go forward. It's stolen away by Impact of all people. Yuuji with a defensive flash, getting himself back out of harm's way. Thanatos' equalizer ain't gonna find a lot, and now Blaber is first to die. C9 scatters to the winds, and Team Liquid's ready to chase, but APA chases too far. Yeon's ready to follow it up though with a nice double kill there through the Arc of Ruin. It's a 3-for-1 trade for Team Liquid, and they'll steal the Drake away as well.
Yep, I was a little bit nervous about that, saw the smite come down, and then the Sion ends up taking it. But the big thing to me is Yeon was completely untouched pretty much throughout that entire team fight, able to clean up a few more kills on the back half of this fight.
Yeah, so Blaber goes for the turn, and he's just going to smite as the dragon is getting low, and it is just a Q charge from Sion, I believe, that is going to be able to take it. So they're looking at right now, Thanatos, you can see, is coming to flank. Yeah, there's still an extra 100 HP on it, but they're trying to push him away, and Impact's able to get it. Then, running out, Yuuji pops his ult and flashes away. They wait out this Rumble ultimate, and Thanatos is the one with pretty much all the lead. So Thanatos, you see him on the back side of the Dragon Pit there. The rest of Cloud9 really don't have a hope of trying to fight off TL at that point, so that's why Impact with his re-engage.
I'm 2 core now. I'm so strong.
True.
He's right. He's very strong.
Too strong.
He is a very, very strong now.
And that was a really good test for TL, right? Because I was talking about how it was going to be, how they either responded to C9 setups or how they set up around objectives themselves. Being able to wait out that Rumble ult, APA coming in with that clutch stun as well, even though he dies on the back half of that fight, really set up Yeon for success.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, TL this game feels like they came in with much better preparation this week than last week. Their early game, especially from Yuuji, you know, clear down to the bottom side, push them off bottom. Then on the recall, him and CoreJJ run straight through top lane. Yep. They make the early play onto Thanatos. I mean, just very good stuff here from the very beginning, as well as into these team fights around Dragon. Now we will see, though, can they turn this mid-game lead into a full-on snowball? Because Rift Herald here is going to annihilate mid lane, and this is where TL have the chance of truly just like blowing open the map.
And we've seen TL, when they're at their best, be able to do that so well, right? And I think the other big thing is that Yunara just snowballs really, really well in general. So she has everything to set her up in fights now. That was great.
Old man driver Impact. Somebody needs to take his license away.
I mean, what was it? Last week it was Blaber. We took away Blaber's license. Now we're taking away Impact's license.
I feel like we shouldn't issue any licenses, and then we just give them out once we see some good driving. Like, does Inspired get one?
We need to see
for
some
his
proof.
Herald play before.
Yeah, all right. Inspired's got one. That's about it. The only
taking away all the other licenses.
Call a taxi, call an Uber, stay out from behind the wheel.
Problem is, Impact is on Sion also, which you also have to drive constantly.
True.
It's a car driving a car. This is...
No wonder he had problems.
Yeah, we got a little bit of an issue here. But overall, I'd say that if Impact's driving is the biggest problem on the team, which it is right now, they're 2,500 gold ahead. Team Liquid is loving the current state of the game. Things are going phenomenally well for them. We've got under a minute and a half until that next Drake does spawn, as we have a little bit of fighting in two different places. And honestly, Team Liquid, I feel like you are always going to be confident in any size of fight as long as Yeon is there, because the Yunara is almost 3,000 gold ahead individually. It's the entire league.
Yeah, so you basically just, everybody always play around Yunara. He's got double summoner spells. You have the extra shield from the locket from CoreJJ. CoreJJ has both his summoner spells as well, so he's always going to hover around here behind Yeon, and they should be able to deal with, as long as they don't get completely surprised by Cloud9's like double clone engage here with Wukong and Neeko, which has the potential to try and lock them up. But even then, it's going to be a little bit difficult to burn through all the extra shields.
Yeah, it has the potential, especially if Thanatos is able to get either a pick or a really good equalizer across the team, because I still think he is kind of the super strong point on this C9 roster still, 1.1k ahead of Impact. Obviously, that's a Sion, so you kind of want to take into consideration that Impact still will be able to frontline very easily for the Yunara, but that is where I'm looking for from a C9 team fight, is if Thanatos is able to get a really good equalizer to just do so much damage, soften everyone up for C9 to go in.
Which is exactly what didn't happen in that last Dragon fight, right? Thanatos drops the equalizer. All he gets is a little bit of damage onto Yuuji and the Trundle flash, which isn't that valuable. And it's part of why Team Liquid was able to run over that fight. Now, C9 doesn't want anything to do with this Drake, as immediately Team Liquid are just going to claim it on spawn.
Yeah, Yeon is just going to annihilate everyone here. He look at this. He's got his parts for Infinity Edge already. This is crazy accelerated Yunara right now. The Kamehameha is just going to annihilate people.
Well, hey, Zven's tier is almost stacked.
That's good. That's good.
He's okay, never mind. The refillable doesn't have any charges on it.
He's at 306.
Yeah, that's 306.
He'll combine it.
Yeah.
That's the same as Max. It's just the numbers are in the wrong order. So C9, they got some stuff. They got some stuff. They're going to need a lot more stuff if they want to stand up to Yeon and Team Liquid. And this Tier 1 tournament is about to fall. Impact's just going to walk up and knock it over.
Yeah, I think the next steps here for TL, I actually thought they would just force this Otacon, because they talked.
They're headed up to it.
Okay, so they were just going down. Maybe they're checking for something here through River first. But yeah, burn that Otacon right after the top tower here, because this is how you really snowball games. They've got all the outer towers. Cloud9 coming to try and fight it.
Okay, Vulcan tries to go in for the Pop Blossom, but gets absolutely no value out of it besides APA's flash. Now the equalizer finally summoned up, but a very nice use of the hostile takeover for the Renata Glasc. Blaber is already down. The Otacon is stolen away by Thanatos as C9. It looks so dicey there, but it's a 1-for-1 trade when the dust settles, and they manage to pull off the heist with the objective.
Flowers. We were talking about, can TL snowball? Can they move it to the next stage? This Otacon is going to be the key. But Cloud9 just send it in there. Blaber's trying to make him, think about it twice. He gets in there. But in the end, another top laner steal?
Yeah. I mean, we see kind of APA get the stun onto Vulcan. Vulcan Pop Blossom not able to get in. The setup looks pretty good. The equalizer then goes down. The Renata ult comes through. Handshake onto the clone. Let's just see where Thanatos, I guess, just gets it from the burn.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be an early smite. It's a slightly early smite, and the Rumble ult is still had tagged it, and so the Leandry's burn here. And we did say Thanatos is the hope.
Thanatos is the answer. I wasn't thinking necessarily like that.
Yeah, that's not exactly how the Rumble usually carries, but he just did right there.
You better believe it, and I got some bad news for the Team Liquid fans in the audience. Yeah, they're still ahead about 2,500 gold, but look at the flower petal count, 32-6. Producers have informed me the difference in value for adaptive force between those numbers, 2.2 thousand. So almost entirely equalizing the combat power from the gold lead that Team Liquid has, as now TL is still going to continue playing aggressively. They want to move into the Cloud9 jungle and look to steal away that red buff, but it's Blaber who wins the smite on that.
Okay. I mean, Actually, I'm getting pretty dang nervous for TL now because you know how well Azir scales, and we've been talking all about Thanatos this whole time. Loki's doing quite well for himself too, you know, at the 2 core here for Azir, and Zven finally has gotten his Muramana combined and transformed
Truly stacked
on the Corki. And so Cloud9, with all the extra power of stealing away that Otacon, have made this game very interesting. Okay, Infinity Edge is done though for Yeon, so maybe he still gets to have his highlight play.
Yeah, it's really going to depend on teamfight setups. Another thing that I have really liked to see from C9, particularly from Thanatos, but also from Loki, is they have been sending their solo laners to try to keep these side waves pushed out. They still have been able to farm pretty well.
Okay.
Drake's not, but we're fighting.
Yeah, we might have a little bit of an issue here. Yuuji just lost half his HP in a quick burst. APA goes over the wall, tries to defend and engage onto Blaber and Loki, but it ain't gonna be enough here just yet. Yuuji stepping in from the side. Loki goes in for the shuffle, but he dies before he can kill APA. The equalizer is still burning, and the Annie will not be saved from the bailout. So a 1-for-1 as both mid laners drop dead.
Yeah, they're down, but TL with control, so they should be able to push this back out. Dragon's coming up in 38-ish seconds. Everyone's going to reset, and both these mid laners will respawn with their teleports. So, honestly, I mean, that's just kind of a delay. That was a preview.
Yeah, it was a preview to the Drake fight. I do like what C9 are kind of doing. As we see the replay here, you can kind of see what they were going for with APA looking, right? He's about to go. And also Impact on the back half of this fight, right? Trying to get on to Thanatos and Zven, keeping them out. Yuuji comes around for the flank, and then, yeah, that shuffle is unable to do anything. Equalizer ends up getting APA despite the bailout, and the fight kind of separates.
All right, round 2. Let's see it. Now with a dragon actually on the rift, Flowers.
A lot of pings going down.
That's what I love about the last fight. It wasn't even for an objective. It was just for the love of the game. As Team Liquid, they're immediately going to find the cleanse off of Zven. What about the follow-up? Impact's going to take some damage here from Zven and Loki's combined DPS. And now your front line is looking awful beat up. Yeon tries to grab a couple of honey fruits there, but immediately it's C9 retaking control over the area. 1v1 off to the side. Yuuji versus Blaber here in the jungle battle as APA summons up Tibbers immediately. Blaber is not winning this 1v1. He has got to be careful and try to get away. Second cast the Cyclone to try to stay alive a little bit longer. Thanatos flashing forward. Yuuji flashing out. Vulcan finds a pop. Blossom on 2. And a nice equalizer down over the top. APA kills off Blaber, but CoreJJ falls to Loki. Impact wants to go over the wall, but it's already a double kill for the C9 mid laner. APA is next to fall. Cloud9 just mopped him up.
That equalizer was huge, really kept Yeon out of being able to come back into the fight and clean up. And as we talked about, this 5-0-3 Yunara is such a crucial part of TL's team fights, right? Like, that's where the bulk of the damage is going to be coming from. The equalizer off the back half was really what struck me about this.
Yeah, plus, while he shot that equalizer, he was also winning the bottom side. He came down to save Blaber. So Thanatos here just does so much work for the team. Look at the rumble. Blaber is getting chased off. He can't win versus Yuuji. So Thanatos, he flashes in, he chases off the Trundle, then he turns around, he shoots the ultimate back up here. Vulcan had them rooted, so he's able to tag 3 of them and burn them down. Then he also keeps APA out of the fight, runs down the Annie. Like, this guy deserves him. He deserves the whole team. Honors.
He plays every role.
That is exactly what I was talking about when I said this is up to Thanatos, right? And now Loki, as we look at Thanatos' numbers thus far in this game. But now Loki is going to become a problem too, right? Zven is going to become a problem. They're going to be doing so much poke damage on this Corki Azir. It should be a lot easier for them to set up around these objectives.
And we saw what happened to Impact before that Dragon fight. He thought he was going to step up, create a little space with a decimating smash. It was him who got decimated and smashed down to about 1,000 HP before the fight really even starts. Now Team Liquid still trying to fight for control over this topside river, as Cloud9 does not want to allow them him to have that. Thanatos level 16 here on the Rumble, level 3 Equalizer ready to cast.
And he's got a death cap completed.
Yep.
So we're talking about, oh yeah, the 3 item power spikes. Whoa, he's engaged on?
Yeah, Thanatos might be in a little bit of trouble here. Drops the Equalizer, but he's already down. APA stays alive off the side as Impact continues putting the pressure here onto Loki. Blaber looking to reposition, protect his mid laner. 1-for-1 trade here as it's both top laners down this time. Impact wants a little more value here out of the Sion passive, but he won't get much. So again, some quick, explosive trading results in an even 1-for-1.
Really important catch onto Thanatos, though, right? Because that takes away just a lot of what C9 can bring to these team fights. Should allow TL to at least be able to set up some key vision around the Baron area. I don't think they're going to attempt it without Impact, though.
Yeah, I think it was the pillar from Yuuji that started it all out. When they had vision on the Rumble, they got the pillar behind him. They know he has no flash. Zven definitely has to Valk away here. Still can't handle the 1v1s versus Yeon. But yeah, taking out the 3-item Rumble right at the very beginning, exactly what Team Liquid need. But it still ended up only being 1-for-1 as Impact actually couldn't really tank on the front line, and as they tried to continue the fight.
I mean, even though they caught Thanatos, he just drops the rockets on himself as he's about to go down and still gets a ton of value out of him. Now Team Liquid's got to be careful here because the red carpet has been rolled out. Yuuji's got to try to escape as Blaber jumps right back into the fight, but immediately C9 don't want to overcommit. Impact now tossed around to the side as Yuuji's barely alive. Impact's going to get burned down. A double kill for Loki is a death sentence for Team Liquid. C9 don't lose a single man. They barely lost an inch of their health bars. They're on the Baron.
Yeah, the Baron is theirs, Flowers. Thanatos once again starts it out with another sick Rumble ultimate on the ramp where they all have to exit through. And so even extra members of TL are walking across this thing, and then Loki goes in. He's like, you know what? You've done so much. I'm going to finish the job here. Azir goes in. Really good play there from Loki as well. Uses his flash, gets the extra kills, and earns them the Baron. And Cloud9, despite their early game Yunara woes, just take over. Look at this thing.
Yeah.
It covers the full ramp too, so he tags them at the beginning, then they have to try and escape over it. You got the follow-up route from Vulcan to set up Loki. Loki goes in, and they grab the extra ones that just guarantee the Baron. And now, this team is fully scaled. They can just go in and push on towers.
Yeah, they were so easily able to separate too to get out of that.
Jack's getting way up there.
He's excited. Reaper is giving them the student to pupil nod of approval. Just very silent, very calm, cool, and collected. Jack is pumped, man.
Reaper is the parent that's way harder to impress. Yeah. Look, Reaper, I got an A.
Jack's just happy the kids are having fun.
Oh my God, it's my parents.
Mine as well. Oh, at 98%. What happened to the other two?
Yeah, shouldn't you have gotten 100? Oh, we find out Loki, very low key, having an insane Azir performance.
Nice, Emily.
3K
Somebody
up.
get Freak on the phone.
I know. Get me out of here. I need one of those giant canes that like pulls me. 5-1-1. He, again, now that we have gotten to this point, right? Like Thanatos was kind of the bridge between a really rough early game at the hands of TL, who were moving around the map super well. But now Loki and Zven are going to be able to do so much poke damage. Especially Loki, but Zven is pretty much in a position where, despite the fact that Yunara is so far ahead, those rockets are still going to hurt.
Exactly. Yunara's range much more limited compared to the poke of the Corki as Blaber's ready to try to jump in there. Does not want to commit the ulti just onto the Sion. TP ready to arrive from the side of Team Liquid as APA gets chunked upon arrival, but it's Loki dead first. CoreJJ killed by Blaber now as Vulcan makes a nice entrance with a Pop Blossom. Blink and you'll miss it. Team Liquid's already dead. Double kill back over to Vulcan. C9 have killed everybody except for APA. The Annie at half HP, struggling to hobble away from this one as Vulcan just wants to interrupt them, try to stop his back because Blaber and Zven and Thanatos are marching down mid lane, and Vulcan will find the interrupt on the recall from APA, so the Annie can't even get back in time to defend.
Yeah, the Pop Blossom kept popping, so he hit something, and now he's going to keep on chasing him.
Oh, and he's still chasing too. The Scryer trinket is going to find APA walking into the tri-brush. Meanwhile,
yeah.
C9's on the Nexus turrets. Only CoreJJ respawns to try to do anything about it. APA is still stranded all the way up in top lane. GG, 32 minutes in, Cloud9 come back and take game one.
Yeah. All right, talking about Loki plays as well, the Vulcan snares were also quite big.
The Tangle Barb?
Kept, kept quite a few members in critical positions. So C9, nicely done.
Yeah, C9 bringing it back. Lounge, how are we feeling about that?
I feel like Thanatos Rumble doesn't miss. Some of those equalizers were so impressive to me.
Yeah, he always hits. He always hits.